Welcome back to another episode of How Safe Is Our Cyberspace. I'm your host, Chinedu Francis. First, a huge thank you to all our subscribers for the amazing response to our first episode last week. Your positive comments and feedback mean the world to us. And if you are new here, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. We would love to hear your thoughts. Today, we are kicking off part one of a special and mind-blowing two-part series on how offensive security tools contribute to cybersecurity awareness and education. Joining us remotely to dissect this topic from the Tech Hub of Ghana is Daniel Nana Anyemedu. Daniel is the founder and lead penetration tester at Hive Consult, one of Ghana's leading cybersecurity firms in ethical hacking, digital forensic, and cyber threat intelligence. In this episode, Daniel easily demonstrated how you and I can be social engineered using a ProxMark 3 device without even us knowing it. But don't worry. Daniel also shared practical ways on how you can protect yourself from such attacks. Watch the full conversation with Daniel to stay ahead and learn how to protect yourself. Welcome, Daniel Nana Anyemedu, to How Safe Is Our Cyberspace.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here.
We will go straight to the question today because today's episode is one that we are going to look into how these offensive security tools help us, the cybersecurity experts, to stay aware and to always protect the organization we work for and we work with. So I would like to ask you, Daniel, what is offensive security tool?
Okay, so first of all, let me explain what offensive security is. Then we move on to the tools. Okay.
Okay.
So when we talk about offensive security is basically simulating real world attacks before the bad guys do get to them. So we simulate real world attacks, we identify vulnerabilities. Yes, we just mimic the way cyber criminals will act. We identify vulnerabilities before the bad guys get in. So the moment we simulate these word attacks, we are able to identify the loopholes and the gaps, and this enables companies act very quickly. So that's what offensive security is. It's like a proactive approach to cybersecurity that focuses in simulating or on simulating real-world attack scenarios to identify vulnerabilities before the malicious attackers or hackers get their hands or exploit them. So that is it. Now, when we talk about offensive security tools are both the hardware and the softwares that are being made available to cybersecurity experts or penetration testers to simulate real-world attacks, to identify vulnerabilities, whether on the network, whether on the hardware, whether on anything electronic, just to identify vulnerabilities, help the company mitigate them, and then, finally seal all loopholes before the bad guys or the hackers, or the bad hackers get their hands on them. So that is what offensive security tools are.
So you mean to tell our audience that offensive security tool is of the hardware and the software part? Like, what are the hardware components of offensive security tool?
So, good, like I said, with the offensive security tools, we have the hardware and then the softwares. This one here is an example of a hardware. I also have, so this one is the HackRF Quarter Pack. This one is used for radio and signal transmission. Radio pen testing, anything that has to do with radio penetration testing. Yes, and I also have the Flipper Zero over here. I have the Flipper Zero. The Flipper Zero is also used, to capture signals and replay them. You can use it to do a whole lot of stuff, right? I'm sure maybe you've seen it before, but the Flipper Zero is also another powerful tool.
I've seen it.
Very good. So the Flipper Zero and then the HackRF, right? A lot of people do compare these two tools. Yes, I'll say the HackRF is the big brother of Flipper Zero. The HackRF has a lot of capabilities than this one, but they are all equally good. They help individuals assess the security posture of organizations. You get it. So that is that. We also have another USB cable over here. I have a USB cable over here, a powerful cable, a harmless looking cable, but this cable is capable of bypassing your Windows firewall. This particular cable over here is, yes, it's capable of
Hold on,
bypassing.
You mean to tell us that that device, that cable you are actually showing us is capable of bypassing my own airtight firewall security? Is that what you mean?
Exactly. So companies don't configure their firewalls properly, okay? And this cable is capable of bypassing your EDRs, your Windows Defender. This is something I'll do for you to see so that you can believe what I'm saying. Because imagine a company with a weak, cybersecurity policies, or a company that don't really adhere to compliance. You get it? A company that do not really train their staff on cybersecurity measures or on how to go about things in an organization. Then someone allows me to insert this cable into their PC. I can even exfiltrate data. I can steal data. I can steal Wi-Fi usernames and passwords. I can even get a reverse shell. Now, this is one of my favorite tools, magnetic stripe reader, MSRS6, that is used to, check for vulnerabilities in the payment card industry. It's used to clone payment cards like your debit card and your credit card. Yeah, something I'm going to do for you to see live here. I have an expired debit card, Visa card, so I'll do a demo for you to see on how it's done. David Bombal shared his story where an attacker was able to clone someone's, debit card to make a whole lot of purchases. And the person used a device like this. There are other schemers over there. Let me put it that way, this is a schema. So if you don't really take care and your card falls into the hands of, let's say, a shopkeeper or an apprentice, the person can scheme your card and make transactions. And the most dangerous part is that you can erase your card immediately after, cloning it to do your bidding. And all of this I'm going to do for you to see. Now, I also have another wonderful tool over here. As you can see, the Wi-Fi Pineapple Mark 7. So first of all, let me explain what the Wi-Fi Pineapple is. It comes along with 3 antennas. I have all of them here. So the Wi-Fi Pineapple Mark 7 is a wireless auditing tool or a wireless pen testing tool, okay? And it was built by a company called Hack5. So Hack5 is a cybersecurity company in the United States, and they produce these things. And it allows security administrators or pen testers to conduct wireless pen testing. The goal of this is to educate people on why it is wrong to use free Wi-Fi. You can use this also to, assess the wireless posture of an organization. I read an article where JP Morgan has banned their staff from working in hotels, from working in cafes, from even working at the airport to some extent, or in the name of public Wi-Fi. If you don't use VPNs, anyone who connects to a public Wi-Fi risks his data. Let me put it that way. So yes, this is a device capable of doing that. That's all about the Wi-Fi Pineapple.
Well, if I heard you correctly, you said anyone that kind of connects their devices to hotel network, airport network, they risk being manipulated. Explain how exactly does that happen? Because the hotel system, I think they've provided a bulletproof Wi-Fi access for their customers or those that come into the hotel. So how come you're telling us that connecting our Wi-Fi to these open places like hotel, cafe, airport, train station, that we risk being manipulated by these evil threat actors?
Okay, so public Wi-Fi's in the airports, in the cafes, in the hotels especially, they pose a lot of security risk because most of these Wi-Fi's are not protected, they are not secure, and they are vulnerable to cyber attacks. You get it? And an attacker or a hacker or someone who wants to play you wiki can exploit these networks to steal your personal data, infect your devices, or spy on your activities, on your user activities.
How do these attackers, come to such public place and then infiltrate the Wi-Fi access of maybe the hotel service provider or the airport service provider? They infiltrate their Wi-Fi and then also perform rogue activities, thereby making us fall victim to whatever form of attack they are carrying out and then extracting our information in the process. How do all these things happen?
Yeah, so you made mention about a keyword, rogue access points or rogue Wi-Fi networks, okay? So there's something called evil twin attack, okay? So hackers can create a fake Wi-Fi hotspot with a legitimate looking name, free airport Wi-Fi, right? And then when you connect, they capture everything you do online. So for example, let's say you visit Starbucks, then immediately you entered, you saw Starbucks free Wi-Fi, okay? Without realizing that it's a fake access point set up by an attacker somewhere. Immediately you connect to it, most of this, Wi-Fi's have portals. They will tell you that before you get access to, this internet connection, you have to sign in. So immediately you click on it, it redirects you to a portal called an Evo portal. Yes, Evo portal is, a model on the Wi-Fi pineapple, right? So we have the Evo portal for Facebook, Starbucks, Gmail, and even when you are using the Flipper Zero dev board. Yes, if you have the Flipper Zero with the dev board, or even without the dev board, let me show you how the dev board looks like. So yes, this is the dev board. Yes, so good. So this is the Flipper Zero, and this is the dev board. You just have to insert it. That's all. You get it. Even with a Flipper Zero and a dev board, or without a dev board, you can simulate rogue access points. That is why it's not safe for individuals to connect to free Wi-Fi. Public Wi-Fi often lacks encryption. That's what your listeners should know. Public Wi-Fi often lacks encryption, meaning that data is sent in plain text. You get it? And hackers can use powerful sniffing tools like Wi-Fi to capture login credentials and other private information. So that is it. Let me end with this. But then one of the dangers when it comes to free Wi-Fi is most often, right, session hijacking. Okay. So if you are logged on to a particular website without an end-to-end encryption, an attacker can steal your session cookies and gain access to your account. So I don't really encourage people to use free Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi and my Bluetooth, I turn them off most of the time when I'm not using. Because I have a friend in the United States. It's called Winston. Winston is very good at just gaining information of your mobile device when your Bluetooth is on. He is able to identify your Bluetooth networks, right? He has a way of getting your contacts, your messages. Yes, just to paint a picture that if you're not using your Bluetooth, turn it off. It's a form of Bluetooth attack. He created that powerful tool and script and is doing his bidding. Now, one of my favorite tools I would like to talk about is this one as well, ProxMark 3. But this is one of the tools that gave me money in my early stages in cybersecurity. This one, somewhere 2021, 2022, after national service, when I came home, I had my first penetration testing, job. So I was made to pen test an organization to perform a social engineering to see if a staff will fall victim. You get it. And I was very successful in doing that. So I visited a company. Yeah, they didn't know that I was hired by their boss. So on their company, they have an inscription, office to let. Do you get it? So I went to the company, and then I went to the secretary that, I wanted this office. So she took me around the whole company itself. Then when we got to the office, I asked her, how do I get access to the building? Do people use keys? Do people use cards? And she said they use the card. Now I was having a file, right? I was having a file, and inside that file was this tool over here. This tool is called ProxMark 3. So this is capable of reading your RFID cards, like your RFID tags. Yes. So I placed it inside the file, and then immediately she gave me her access. I just placed it on the file, then I gave it to her. She didn't know that inside my file had this ProxMark 3 reader. When I went home, I just cloned a card number onto a new one. The following, they had access, and I wrote a pen testing report to them that they really need to tell their staff not to be giving their access cards to people. Every good company, every self-respected company is supposed to have a zero trust security policy. Zero trust means that once you may be my colleague, all right, but there are some things I won't let you do. Do you get it? There are some things I'm not going to let you do. You can't have my access. If you want to go out and you've lost your access, I have to go personally and open it for you. And I also recommended to the company that I don't think it's a very good thing to have your access cards around your neck. I don't even think you should use your access cards in the first place. Migrate from cards and move on to biometric. Yes. So I stated all of that in the company policy, and they shifted from cards to biometric. And yes, that is it. The reason why I don't encourage people to hang their access cards on their belt or on their neck is the fact that even when an attacker should stand close to you in a distance, like the person can read your cards. A tool like ProxMark 3 can do it, and a tool like the Flipper Zero can do it. Once the person is close to you, the Flipper Zero is very effective. All of them are very, very effective. They are going to do all your bidding. That's it.
Daniel, this past 7 to 8 minutes, you've been able to not only simplify these questions that have been on our mind, but you've been able to demonstrate to us how we can fall victim to. Just last episode, how safe is our cyberspace? We spoke about social engineering and we spoke about phishing. And here you are actually telling us that you've carried out a successful phishing attack on an employee of an organization. And you see, this is the problem. We humans things we tend to not pay too much attention to are those things that these cyber actors exploit the most, and at the end of the day, we humans, we are the weakest link.
Exactly. And these are blank cards. Yes. So after reading the tag of the lead using the ProxMark 3, all I have to do is to clone it, and it's work. I recently developed a tool called Broken, mainly for ProxMark 3 to make my work very easy. Broken. So if I put a card, right, an access card onto this, right, it's going to read it for me when I activate my Broken. You get it? All of these things are being put in place to make people understand that human beings are the greatest vulnerability in security, and the reason why cybersecurity is what's important. Do you get it? Have that zero trust policy in an organization. Make sure that your staff is compliant. Not only your staff, your devices that you are using are compliant.
So Daniel, from all these things you've shown us, these plethora of tools you've displayed to our audience, I would like to ask you, how dangerous are these tools in the grand scheme of things?
Okay, so all these tools are dangerous. They can cause havoc, especially with a tool like this, the HackRF Porter Pack, a very dangerous tool. So somewhere in 2023, I was able to perform a hack on a cell tower. Okay, I was able to perform a hack on a cell tower using this particular tool, and I was able to get access to everybody IMSI number who was connected to that particular cell tower. So IMSI is International Mobile Subscriber Identity, and your IMSI is mainly on your SIM card. It tells who you are. You get it. So if you are on my if your phone, every day your phone broadcasts itself into a form of orchestra. So even when your phone is on, it is talking to the cell tower. You get it. This tool, anyone having this particular tool can get things, not one, not twice. Last year, after the AFCON, I had a couple of Nigerians moving to me that I should do a demonstration. So I did a private live demonstration for people to know how it's done. And in a matter of 2 minutes, we had over 500 IMSIs. So it means that anyone who passed through my vicinity, I was going to capture your IMSI. You get it? And I have developed a tool that can tell me the cell towers your phone is connected to. Triangulation. So yes, 3 cell towers, that's like your phone has connected to.
I'm amazed, I'm marveled by what you do. How did you pick up this wonderful skill you've been able to put into good use to help the world at large? How were you able to navigate your way? Were you a computer science student, an engineering student, or your dad was a cybersecurity professional, so you grew up following your dad's footsteps? I want you to tell us, how did you begin your journey into becoming a professional cybersecurity expert?
All right. So first of all, I like science a lot. I really like science a lot. And my dad is an electrical engineer, okay, but my brother and I decided that we will never do anything in line with science. We didn't want to have the same thing like our father did. So I did business. I'm not a computer science student. A lot of people think I'm a computer science student. I go for conferences.
Excuse me? You are not a computer science student. You did
No.
business. So how did a business student transition into becoming one of the world's best penetration tester?
So the thing is, I had a passion when I was around 13, 14 years. I was in the junior high school at that time. I used to go to the internet cafe a lot, and I belonged to a group on Facebook. Recently, I checked them out and I realized that the group has been shut down. I was really paid because I wanted to take a screenshot of it, so that I'll show to the world that this was a group I was part some time ago. It was a group filled with, the first time I heard cybersecurity was from that group. There were people from Eastern Europe, Western Europe, and Asia. I think we were 18 in total. So I used to go to the cafe. African parents, when you go, you come back, they beat you. They have that perception that the internet cafe is a bad place, but I was still going. You get
That was
it?
the early days of the internet
Yes.
access in Africa.
Exactly. Yes. You go to the internet cafe, you come back, then they beat you, then you go and kill. Yeah. So it was being that group that I developed the love for it, and I was learning stuff about wireless security in that group. So my first hack that I did, right, was in 2016 when I went to university, afresh, 2016. So when I went to university, I realized that the school was cheating us. When I was completing university, I think everyone had internet access. But when we went in 2016, most of the Wi-Fi networks on campus were encrypted. They had passwords on them. So because I learned a lot from that group, and I also had a wireless adapter as at that time, you can't perform wireless pen testing without having a wireless adapter. You're supposed to get a wireless adapter.
Yeah,
Get
yeah,
it? Without wireless
definitely.
adapter, exactly. Without wireless adapter, you can't do wireless pen testing. So yes, when I got to know that we were paying for Wi-Fi because I saw the school fees breakdown, I got angry. So I went to the Department of Economics. Like, there's a department on our campus, right? Yes, is it Department of Economics and Geography? Those departments, like, they are in one place, yeah, like in one whole building. So I went there and I realized that there were a lot of strong internets over there, but it was limited to a few group of people. So I was like, okay, then I'm going to, try to crack them. I was very fortunate because as at that time, I was able to get, let me rate it out of 10. If the Wi-Fi access points that I saw was 10, majority, I was able to get like 8 because they were using weak passwords.
And
So yes, I was able to do my thing.
you learned all these things from joining the face group
Yes,
community.
very good. Very good. That's why I am a stand supporter of networking, okay? Because I was just a small boy as at that time, but I was able to learn something from them. And I applied it years later when I got to the university and it worked. So I was able to get a lot of, Wi-Fi passwords and I shared it to my friends. Yes, and I was very happy because we paid for it. Just that some people decided to encrypt it. You get it. So that was my first hack I did, 2016 in October. Yes, I remember very well. It was in October that I did it. And after that time, things began to change. I think after that, I also did a similar one close to another college. Then a lecturer saw me with an adapter. I think he knew what it was. So when he saw me, he started engaging me. What am I using it for? What am I doing? And I couldn't lie. So I just told him what I was doing. And then the lecturer was impressed. At the beginning, he wanted to scare me. But yes, later he was impressed and he advised me that I have a very good skill, but I should know that everything I do have consequence or has a consequence. So I shouldn't get into any trouble. And that was one of the top that changed everything. When I was in the university, I had a lot of money. I had a lot of money because my friends were also paying me to break into their websites. You get it?
So,
My friends were paying me.
Daniel, you mean your passion drove you into joining a community on Facebook and then sharpening your skill from what you learned from the community and then using your hacking skills to make money off your colleagues while you were in school. So you're trying to tell me that if you never had a conversation, an eye-opening conversation with that particular lecturer, you would have, transitioned into
Yeah, right
evil.
now. But yeah,
You know that?
yes, exactly. Yes. And I remember he said something. He said, with great power comes great responsibility. And this thing has been
Exactly.
in my
Because I
head for a very
wanted you
long
to
time.
understand that even me looking at you right now, I'm scared of you. I'll be very honest to my viewers. I'm scared of you because these tools that you've gotten over time and you've been able to understand how to use these tools make you more dangerous. And that
Exactly.
is why I still ask you this question. How dangerous are these offensive security tools, the software, the hardware in the hands of the cyber threat actors and also in the hands of the cybersecurity experts like you?
So first of all, hacking tools are not dangerous. It depends on the mindset of the individual. Do you get it? Yes, hackers, and what makes hacking tools dangerous is when people misuse it. So hacking is just like someone asking me whether hacking is good or bad. Hacking is very good. For me, from where I stand, hacking is very good because you are able to, find vulnerabilities, patch those vulnerabilities before real world hackers or before the bad guys do lay their hands on them. Like I said earlier on, when I was in school, people were paying me to test their websites. Students, when we were in school, people were selling a lot and people were building, e-commerce websites. They pay me, I go inside, yes. And definitely there's a vulnerability that I always see when I go inside. So this vulnerability allows me to manipulate prices and then, yes, like manipulate prices of items and all using these same offensive security tools.
So probably you were running a mini bug bounty hunting program, while you were in school.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So I was doing my own pen
So
testing in school.
you were actually doing a genuine and legal hacking for your colleagues.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
And I had wonderful support from my friends at work. My next door mates when I was in level 200, they were physics and mathematics students. I think yes, 3 physics students, 1 mathematics students. I remember them so well till date. It was a conversation we had That changed everything. It changed the way I thought. It changed about this whole cybersecurity thing. You get, because they were very good and they were those pushing me. Now, offensive security tools can be very dangerous, like I said, if these tools fall in the hands of bad people. These bad people can use these same tools to have backdoors, to exploit your devices, to steal information, to cause havoc. Yeah, someone can use offensive security tools to, or a particular tool to just destroy your server. You get it? To steal information from your server, to cause a DDoS, to do a whole lot. This is the device that I have here. This one's right. So, for example, the HackerF and then the ProxMark 3. The HackerF can be used to spoof GPS. Something I'm going to do for you to see, because this is what I want people to see, that there are good guys out there who are also doing their best to educate people on cybersecurity practices. You get it? So we are going to spoof GPS using this. I'll do for you to see. And this particular one too as well. An attacker using this particular one can spoof GPS. So if I say spoofing, you are just misleading people on your exact location. So you can mislead vehicles, you can mislead drones, you can mislead what? Ships. For example, a friend has a drone and I was just showing a demonstration to him. I demonstrated to him how it is possible to spoof the location of a drone. Yes, drone hijacking. So someone can spoof your drone. Immediately you are flying your drone. The person having a powerful antenna can, with a HackerF, can intercept your signals, manipulate it, mislead the drone spoofing to hijack that drone. We get it. This was Mark 3 over here. RFID, anything that has to do with payment cards. Yes. So it's not only about RFIDs. Payment cards are also included. You can clone access cards. So for example, you are a staff of a bank. I was able to clone your card, right? Using the ProxMark 3 or maybe using the Flipper 0. In your absence, I can have access to the building, steal whatever that I want, and then get away. What is worrying here is that if the head of physical security or the physical security team should go back and check the logs of who entered this particular place at that particular time, they are going to point to you, because at the end of the day, an attacker was able to clone your card. Do you get it? So the software will assume that it was you. But under normal circumstance, it wasn't you. It was because your card was cloned. And one best way to stop things like this is to get an RFID block. Yes, we have RFID blocks for sale. If you go to Amazon, you get some. Yes, it's just some small RFID show that you insert your cards, whether your payment card, whether your access cards. And then imagine MSR X6, magnetic stripe reader. Like I said, this is one of my favorites. I also have a blank card over here. So the difference between this and this is that one is painted and all, but they are all having one thing in common: the magnetic stripe. That's where your information is. So if someone swipes this, the person reads, and then the person also writes onto the blank card. It means that whatever you can buy on this card, I can also buy. Then immediately I'm done with the transaction, I just use the same tool to erase it, making tracking very difficult, because no vendor will disclose. If me, I'm a vendor, I'll never disclose. I'll just tell you that someone made this purchase at this time. But to disclose who that particular person is, I want to protect my integrity and the integrity of the customer who bought the thing. You get it? So offensive security tools are very dangerous, but then they are also good when they are being used to identify vulnerabilities and help companies stand up to their game. Let me put it that way. Thank you.
Daniel, you've really bombarded us with, a lot of information. And exactly the fact that you are able to acknowledge that those tools that you are in possession of, those cybersecurity knowledge that, you've acquired over time, have made you to become not only dangerous, but powerful when it comes to the world of cybersecurity. And for our viewers out there, this podcast is the platform where the hard questions about your cyberspace is asked. And professionals, highly knowledgeable individuals who over time have proven to be the defenders of the cyberspace, we bring them here to answer these hard questions and also simulate real-world attacks in a controlled environment. Daniel, I would like to ask you, using one cyber or offensive security tool, can you simulate a real-world example so our audience can be able to see and understand how these tools work and how dangerous these tools are, and if possible, try as much as they can to protect themselves when it comes to execution of these tools on the victim?
Okay, that's fine. So let me show you something, right? I have a debit card, my expired debit card, and I also have I have an access tab over here. I bought this RFID log just to simulate to people, on how cyber criminals can read your access tags and then have access to the building, right? Now, if I use a tool like the Flipper Zero, okay, so we are going to read. So imagine you are a staff in a bank, or you are a staff, let's say, in an
What is the name of
organization.
this attack you're trying to explain to us?
So I'm going to social engineer you to get your access tag. Do you get it? Yes. So I'm coming to read your access tag. This is part of physical security pen testing. Okay. We have a lot of pen testings. We have Wi-Fi pen testing, automobile pen testing, web application pen testing, website pen testing, automobile pen testing, drone pen testing. We have radio pen testing. It has become one of my favorites because radio pen testing really makes you powerful. Only if you know what you are doing, you get it. So
Okay.
yes, that is it. So imagine you are a staff in an organization, a very big one. Let's say you are a staff in JP Morgan, or you are a staff in, let's say, MI6. I like MI6 a lot. So let me assume you work with MI6. And this is your access tag, okay? You hang it around your neck. When I come to you, I can pretend as if maybe I've destroyed something. Then I'll call for you to help me, right? Immediately you bend down and I have this. I'm going to read this. So as you can see, it has read this access tag. It is saying that what? It is a MiFi Classic card. It has read it.
So, Daniel, how close in terms of proximity will the cyber criminal be to the victim in terms of executing what you just did? Because what you did is like what we see in the movie scene. We see cyber criminals or the bad guys, manipulating the good guys with this stuff you just did.
Yes.
So please walk us through what you just did.
So this is the Flipper Zero. On the Flipper Zero, we have the NFC, right? So when I click on the NFC, it's going to allow me read NFC tags. Okay. So this card I'm having here is an NFC tag. So assuming that, like I said, you work for MI6, this is your access card, right? And
your access card into the building.
Into the building. Yes, that's what I'm saying, that this is part of physical security pen testing, right? So with assuming that this is your access card, and then unfortunately for you, your access card is around your waist. I can put this in a file, right? I can set it in a file. So as you can see, it's reading, right? I can put it in a file, and without your knowledge, I can just be behind you, point the file to your back or to where your access tag is, and I can read it. And as you can see, yes, the access tag has been read. Now it is saying
I have noise.
Wonderful. So I don't know if you can see. So they are saying that it's a MiFi Classic card. Yes, the keys are also found. All the sectors have been read, and the UID has also been read. Yes, and then I can either save this. And visit the building anytime you are not available, or even when you are available. But when I enter into the building, people are going to assume that it is you because I am using your access to have access.
So you just physically social engineered employee of an organization.
Exactly. Just me making a real world attack. Yes.
I understand we are doing this, now for our wider audience out there. Don't try this in an uncontrolled environment. This podcast is strictly for educational purposes. Whatever real world simulation attack our guests perform is in a controlled environment owned by them. So, on no obligation will you perform these things that he is doing in an uncontrolled place.
Exactly.
So, what we do here is for educational purposes. Daniel, like I said, what you just performed is you quietly snatched away someone's access card details.
Exactly.
So, in other words, you just successfully cloned someone's identity without even the person being aware that his access card, the access he have to get into his office building, has already been cloned by a cyber threat.
Exactly.
If these tools are dangerous, Daniel, my question is, why do the government allow these tools to be sold freely in the public market?
Yes. So as at the time I was buying these tools, there were control measures. You have to show your license, you have to do here and there, you have to show a proof that you have a cybersecurity certificate. But right now it is open. Anyone can buy. But I think on a part of the online stores, they are being well. Amazon in particular, I think anytime there's a report that a particular product that they are selling, is being used to cause cyber attacks or maybe cause disruption, they just take it down. You get it. But I also know that there are other online platforms that sell these things. Recently, I heard that in Canada, they want to try and ban Flipper Zero because of the mayhem it's causing. Do you get it? In the UK, the last time I read, they are using the Flipper Zero to steal cars, using the replay attack. So someone can just capture the signal of your car key for, since most of the cars we use are using static codes. Immediately you are not there, the person can just replay your code and then get access to your vehicle, then just do away with it. You see, security pen testing is very important because it helps to prevent unauthorized access. You get it? So if you remember at the beginning when I gave my experience with the ProxMark 3,
ProxMark 3, yeah.
good. I recommended to the company that they should get RFID shield for their, for their staff or migrate from access cards to, biometric, of which they listened. They just changed everything to biometric. That's what makes it very wonderful. Running an RFID access card to enter a secure facility, it can be anywhere. It can be a vote. So just imagine, let's say, in an organization where only one person has access to a vote, and I'm able to perform this social engineering to just get the access tag of that particular person. It means that wherever the person can enter into the organization, I can also enter. Do you understand? So yes, physical security pen testing protects sensitive data. It also prevents unauthorized access, because attackers can control to gain physical access to restricted areas. So the question is, how are we going to stop this? How are we security professionals, how are we the good guys in cybersecurity going to enforce that these things should be stopped? So I tell companies often that do not be hanging your access cards around your neck. Whether you are at the bank, anywhere you are, make sure you don't let anyone even see that you have an access card around you, because you may not know who is watching. You may not know who is also having the capability to do this particular insane thing to you. At the end of the day, when issues should come, you are the one who is going to answer another person, because this is where identity theft have come to be or has played, where the person has cloned your access and the person is mimicking you inside the organization. Most often, right, I don't want to spoil anyone's job, but most often it's the security men in an organization, those that we hire to be the security, especially when staff want to have access to the washrooms and their washrooms are locked. They give them access tags. If I visit your company and you give me an access tag and I have my Flipper Zero, definitely I'm going to read it. I'll read it, I'll write a report on you, and I'll email your organization that I came there, I want to visit, someone. You people gave me the access tags, and then, I read it. For me, I feel like no matter who you are going to visit, once I come to the reception I'm looking for you and the phone call is placed, either a security man will escort me directly to meet you where you are, or you have to come down to meet me. I don't really like a web company has to give you a card to enter. No, it doesn't speak well, because you may not know who has this tool or who has the capability to use this ProxMark 3 to harm your company. Zero trust security architecture.
You need to understand that for an organization, for big corporations to have such security measures, I believe as at that point in time, this was the best form of security they could put in place. But with the invention of this Flipper Zero, not many companies tend to look out for their protections when it comes to cybersecurity, because they believe if they can perform the physical assets, pay security companies to protect their physical asset, they don't look out for the digital asset, which I think is more valuable. Because from this display, this hands-on real-world simulation attack you just performed about social engineering, I can tell you that a lot of people will understand why they need to protect themselves by getting an RFID shield, right?
Yes, and even if the RFID shield is expensive for you, you know the aluminum foil, right?
Okay.
The aluminum foil is also another wonderful alternative. I have tried it and it works very well. When you put your card in an aluminum foil and you try reading it with the Flipper Zero, the signals can't be read. You can also get this. You see, this is the Faraday bag, okay? This is one of my best tools as well. All my tools are very important to me, so I protect them with my life. In fact, when you come to my room, I have a place I keep them. So the Faraday bag is a wonderful bag that prevents people from hacking you. Yes, it prevents people from, getting information such as your car key fobs, a whole lot of other stuff. Now, it blocks electromagnetic waves. Okay, this is how the Faraday bag looks like. Those who don't know how the Faraday bag looks like. So just as I was able to read the access card, I'm going to also put the access tag over here into the Faraday bag to see if we can read the access IDs or the key. Okay, so just know that this is a wonderful defensive tool to prevent things like this. So the Faraday bag is a bag that blocks electromagnetic waves. Okay, it blocks signals. It functions like a portable Faraday cage to prevent wireless communication between the device inside and the outside world. So in other countries, we have a lot of politicians who like these things because the moment your phone is inside the Faraday bag, it will be very difficult for someone to penetrate it. So that is that. It prevents remote access of hacking electronic devices inside the bag. It also blocks tracking and surveillance because once you put the electronic device here and the device has GPS, it cuts off GPS and cellular signals. Okay. And the one wonderful thing is that it absorbs and redistributes radio signals, yes, to prevent penetration. That's why I say that a lot of politicians really like this particular bag. So we have the access tag inside this. Yes, exactly. So good. First of all, as you can see, let's read this once again. I want you to see this. Very good. So we have read this, right? Now let's put it inside the Faraday bag and see if we can read it. So most often when I go for conferences, I just demonstrate to people and let them know that yes, this is how you can prevent yourself from getting access to RFID cloning or card cloning. Good. So this is it. I'm trying to, as you can see, it is trying to read, but it's not reading. You can't hear any beep sound, right? There's no beep sound. You can't read. Let's try here. You can't read. Nothing. So the Faraday bag is a shield against, these things, this form of attacks. But the question you asked was very important. How many companies prioritizes these things? Even the rich ones, they're not prioritizing these things. Even companies that do have a lot of money, they are not prioritizing these things. You get it. So, like I said earlier, humans are the greatest vulnerability in security, and everything we do is up to us. I think it's high time companies really pay attention to, things like this to prevent people from getting unauthorized access to either a building or to sensitive data. Yes, that is it when it comes to, the Faraday bag. So the Faraday bag is good. I have my card here. I have my payment card here. I can also put my payment card in it. Nothing is reading. Nothing. Nothing is reading. As you can see, nothing is reading. Nothing is reading. But immediately I take out this particular, good, exactly. I have read the card. I've read the card number. As you can see, my card number is yes, I can go. So as you can see, this is an expired card, right? So the card number is 45310.
That's an expired card, That's an expired card.
Exactly. It's the same thing over here. So yes, you people have to be careful out there because not most of the online sites, right? They don't even need your CVV. Those three unique numbers that I am at the back here, they don't need them. They only need those long numbers and then the card expiry. They are good to go. I think I watched a documentary where it was said that Amazon once didn't allow you use your CVV, but I think right now it is there. You get it. But please be careful so that you don't fall victim to things like this. The Friday bag, I take it wherever that I'm going because I may not know when, I'll also fall victim. Mind you, me that I am here educating you, I am also careful. I'm very, very, very careful. That's one thing about cybersecurity. No one is secured.
Daniel, aka Red Hat Pen Tester on Twitter, has been able to open our eyes to the way these evil cyber actors, the way they manipulate us, they take advantage of us without us even knowing. You see, it looks like magic, but it's not magic. It's just numbers and code. And these people understand human psychology the most. Thank you for watching that video. And mind you, this is just the part 1 of 2-part series with Daniel Anyemedu on how offensive security tools contribute to cybersecurity awareness and education. We hope you found this discussion insightful and you are now more aware of the risks posed by these offensive security tools and how you can stay protected. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the part 2 of this wonderful series with Daniel Anyemedu. Stay informed, stay safe, and see you in the part 2.